We thought the best way to do that is to articulate our position to you so that we are not misunderstood or our position is not misinterpreted. In other words, in short of saying so that you get it directly from the horse's mouth. We're not horses, but we want you to get it directly from the finance team of Umkhonto weSizwe. My role is just to welcome you. I know my limitations. I'm not an expert in finance. So for that reason, I've brought the entire team here. These are experts when it comes to finance. Each and every one of us will be speaking specifically to details that relate to finance. Mine is just to make broad observations and welcome you and thank you for your time. It means so much to us so that the viewers at home can know exactly where we stand. I'm going to ask the members of the team to introduce themselves. I'm going to start from my extreme right, Commander Majola. Please introduce yourself, tell us your portfolio, and so on, in that order. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DP. Greetings to all media houses present. My name is Senzo Mchunu. I'm representing Umkhonto weSizwe Party at MKP level on both appropriation and finance committees. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DP. To our people at home, to the media houses, my name is Senzo Mchunu. I am the lead member for appropriations and an alternate for SCOF and the member for the Standing Committee on the Auditor General. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Modete. I'm the whip for Economic Cluster. I sit on the Electricity Committee as well as being an alternate in SCOF.
Thank you very much.
Madume, our party leader, Leba Kai Soko Highway, Dinalaga Kites Fanuel, Telete Peli Komitia, Chelete, Parliament in Yaronaya Bosichan.
Thank you so much, Commander Des.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Honorable weSizwe Douglas. I'm the whip for the Peace and Security Cluster for MK. I'm also serving on the Appropriations Committee, and I'm lead on international relations.
Thank you so much, Commander Wesley. I'm going to hand over now to Chief Whip Makubele, who needs no introduction. She will make a presentation to you shortly. Over to you, Chief Whip. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President and our party leader in Parliament. Members of the media, our fellow citizens, good morning and thank you once again for joining us. As we have told you when I was first appointed that this is going to be our regular encounters to update you on the work that we are doing in the Parliament, to have you ask us questions, understand our positions, and this is but one of those interactions, and we thank you for making yourselves available for this important press briefing. We address this media briefing today under what evidently are changing political conditions. The revelations by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi contributed immensely to creating this new political dynamic in our country, and of course propelled by the decisive action of the MK party and the self-driven activity by the masses of our people demanding immediate change and accountability. We salute the bravery and determination of our masses, which forced the President to act and dismiss Dr. Nobuhle Nkanyani as the Minister of Higher Education, and also suspending the head of National Prosecution Authority in Gauteng. We have seen spontaneous marches in Durban, Eastern Cape, including the MK Party march to the Union Building and other parts of the country. In most of these public demonstrations, the message is very clear. Citizens have had enough of the betrayal of this president and the enormous failures of the government of national unity. Our citizens have lost confidence in the president and the ability of the government to change the lives of the people for the better. We also saw yesterday residents in Tembisa marching against the high electricity tariffs and how this is affecting their livelihoods. We stand with the people of Tembisa as they fight high electricity tariffs, and we demand for the scrapping of this huge increase nationally. This week, especially tomorrow, will be very interesting for our citizens as Parliament prepares to consider the national budget and the various budget votes. We call on the Progressive Alliance to work together and vote against the austerity budget as presented by Minister Godongwana. Ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday will prove once and for all if the Democratic Alliance will put its money where its mouth is. Wednesday is the D-Day for the DA to prove what it really meant when it said publicly that the DA will not support corrupt ANC ministers and will vote against the budget votes of departments led by corrupt ANC ministers. Wednesday will be that practical test for the DA. If the DA fails to put this into practice on Wednesday, it might as well, as far as we're concerned, shut up and not mislead its constituency to believe it stands against corruption when it is in fact an enabler. In its current form, this budget is self-serving budget. And our team lead, Honorable Des van Rooyen, is going to take us through the budget and what it means for our people and what it means for the nation. Our portfolio lead of appropriations will also take us through the statement that they've prepared to let you know the position of MK Party. What we're going to present to you today, we will do so not out of spite or mere politics, but out of a revolutionary concern for the glaring disconnect between the priorities of this budget and this government and the harsh economic realities that face the majority of South Africans, especially women, the unemployed youth, the poor, and the historically marginalized. No, we don't believe this budget addresses the needs of our most vulnerable residents. This budget does not address the urgent actions that needs to be taken, like creating jobs, basic services, addressing the corruption that rob our people of quality, safe, and clean cities. It offers no support for informal workers, no support for rural workers, and certainly no support for traditional leaders and their communities. Instead, it indicates systematic control failures and mismanagement by the GNU, and they have failed to return the people's money back to the people in the form of tax cuts, gainful employment, meaningful social grants, reliable basic services, school uniform for our poor rural children, hot school meals for our poor rural children, school transport, and also what we find really disturbing is that this budget does not even address what was reported a couple of days ago, that traces of ARVs have been found in our drinking water. How did this happen under the GNU watch? Instead, they are making decisions like the fuel levy rises without the precise impact assessment on the people that are really on the edge of poverty. As a government in waiting and the vanguard of our liberation, our highly competent and experienced finance team has advanced various proposals which they will present today. But of course, they were ignored by the GNU because they are comfortable knowing that they are not addressing the people's issues, and they will speak in detail on this. They have hardened their hearts to the cry of our people. There seems to be a dark veil over these leaders of the GNU, such that they don't have a clue anymore on what is going on with our people. Last week, Wednesday, when we had the debate of Vote 1, the presidency budget, the MK Party Deputy President and Party Leader, in his speech, he outlined the litany of sufferings unleashed on our people by the GNU. He described the pain of the day-to-day lived experience of our people to the President. But in his response the following day, President Ramaphosa himself mocked this speech and called the pain and daily sufferings of our people, and I quote, a laundry list. He took no serious concern to the contamination of water, the dry taps, lack of electricity, collapsed infrastructure, and hospitals that have become graveyards. That's a serious tragedy. This budget is clearly a sign that the GNU has isolated itself from the very people they were meant to serve and protect. It's a budget that belongs to a select GNU few. Lava Diaku Dombolo Rakapondo. The administration has become complacent, fat, and untouchable and sexist. Look at how they have dealt with the issue of Senzo Mchunu and how quickly they have responded to the black educated woman minister of higher education. She was just an easy soft target, a sacrificial lamb at the GNU altar. All things equal and fair, Minister Senzo Mchunu should have been fired in the same breath. This is a clear cowardice at the decisive moment by the president. In addition, the MK party, as we are mobilizing the grassroots, we filed papers with the Constitutional Court, as you know. We have now today put a motion of no confidence on the president for his failures, and chief among them, failure to fire Mchunu and to protect the most vulnerable in our society. We want our people to know that these GNU cosmetic changes of ministers, it does not mean reforms. This change does not mean improvement at all. It's a recycling of the same old. It's only a matter of time before another scandal hits because of this systematic rot. This systematic rot will keep churning out the same results of corruption. In conclusion, what matters most today and what matters most to the MK party, and it will come out when the finance team presents now, is addressing the issue of deepening inequality and poverty of our people. The budget should be focused on the redistribution of wealth. The GNU administration has to address this important question, no matter how devastating the consequences on their GNU partners and their backers. 2, this budget should be about restoring social order and social control. As a country, we have reached the climax of social disorder and collapse of governance. We have to fight to restore the social order in our communities, enforce command and control through empowerment of social structures such as our traditional leaders, our religious leaders, and community leaders. We have to redirect the efforts and the money that is hidden in selling off state assets to private hands, redirect it and focus it on the young people and bringing them out of poverty and into employment. This should be the singular focus of this budget, to prevent the cyclic occurrence of poverty, crime, and deprivation that exists today. The administration should be doing more to help young people. Any intelligent government knows that budget decisions must be based on real current data of child poverty, GBV, and crime in our rural areas and informal settlements, which is not their concern at all. And of course, well-informed policies that will assist the majority of our people who are most in need. Yet, this budget is mainly about balancing trade-offs between the ANC and the DA that manifests daily in a tragic and costly mishaps to the country. Looking at Budget 3.0 that we'll talk about today, which is the prime example. I thank you, and I will now hand over to Comrade Mwali, who will take us through the statements from the appropriations team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip. Thank you so much, Chief Whip. To our beloved South Africans, the members of the media, and all who demand economic justice, Umkhonto weSizwe Party categorically rejects the 2025 appropriation bill as weaponized austerity framework designed to consolidate the elite control over the economy, deepen systemic poverty, and hand over public finances to an unaccountable network of political puppets, donors, and private capital. This bill is not a budget. It is a financial coup against the poor. Let us call it by its true name. A budget of betrayal built on anti-poor fiscal consolidation, regressive taxes, and failed neoliberal dogma. A worst of it all. It is being defended by the so-called GNU, which is a coalition of cowards, contradictions, and captured technocrats. The so-called GNU governs at the instruction of the unelected economic elite, a revolving door of rating agencies, the billionaires, IMF proxies, and multinational lobbies. We were told that this so-called GNU will stabilize the nation, but instead what it has delivered, a fuel levy increase that drives inflation in food and transport, a real term per capita decline in health, education, and policing budgets, a massive underspending in capital infrastructure, 620 million in school infrastructure left untouched, high electricity tariffs, a budget deficit reduction that is financed by choking service delivery, not cutting waste at the top. This hypocrisy is staggering. The DA claims to oppose the VAT increases, yet they vote for a budget that protects the VAT base and inflates the fuel levy, both of which disproportionately affects the poor. And they grandstand in the media about not supporting this and that vote, but fall in line when the Treasury calls the whip. The ANC-NEC issues statements of concerns, while its MPs vote like robots. The so-called GNU is not unity. It is managed compliance. It is governance by memo, not by mandate. And there's no amount of shouting from ANC alliance partners or DA press briefings that will change the fact that this project is run by unelected interest. What are we witnessing is a real state capture. As MK Party, we reject this appropriation bill. We do so not as populist, but as the only party rooted in economic reality, and let numbers speak on their own. 41% national unemployment, 35.5% amongst women, 45.5% amongst the youth, 11.7% amongst the university graduates, 3.2 billion in unspent local government infrastructure funds, a growth rate projection of 1.4% rejected as a fantasy by both the Financial and Fiscal Commission and the Parliamentary Budget Office. How can a state claim fiscal credibility when its economic assumptions are optimistic beyond belief? When it suspends the wages of frontline workers while pumping billions in bailouts for SOEs and debt servicing costs? This appropriation bill is not economically reckless. It is socially explosive. The service delivery riot in Tembisa, sparked by rolling blackouts and unaffordable electricity tariffs, are a warning signal to the state. The poor are reaching a breaking point, yet this budget provides no relief. Instead, it allocates billions to debt servicing while local government collapse and citizens are left in the dark. The Department of Electricity, newly established with a fanfare, remains a hollow shell, unfunded, uncoordinated, incapable of delivering stability to the grid. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense remains strategically staffed, unable to respond to national emergencies, border insecurity, and cyber threats. The police budget has been slashed, even as violent crime soars. The cuts are not accidental, but they reflect the priorities of the so-called GNU that govern not for the people, but at the mercy of the financiers, the donors, and the private interest. The situation is even more dire when you consider the explosive allegations made by Lieutenant General Senzo Mchunu, who bravely exposed the existence of deep state criminal network embedded within government, intelligence, and law enforcement. These are not conspiracy theories, these are facts. The very institutions meant to protect South Africans, they've been infiltrated by organized crime, business elites, and corrupt political figures who operate across the party lines. This is real-time systematic betrayal where gang bosses are politically connected criminals act with impunity because they have enforcers within the state itself. The treasury budgets for law enforcement, but gangsters control substations. Treasury budgets for infrastructure, but the tenders go to cartels. This is not a democracy. This is a capture of state, weaponized through budget votes that pretends to serve the people while funding their oppression. The MK party proposed a radical alternative rooted in sovereignty and redistribution. A sovereign wealth fund capitalized through mineral royalties and beneficiation. A people's budget that ends austerity and centers township and rural economies. A direct community ownership of land and energy infrastructure. A fourth industrial fund to train and absorb unemployed youth. A new fiscal compact that directs capital to the bottom of 60% of society. This is the only path to real growth, real inclusion, and real stability. We cannot pet this system. It must be dismantled and rebuilt on justice. We will vote against this appropriation bill. We will expose every contradiction, every act of betrayal, every ghost budget line, and we will continue to fight for an economy owned by the people, run by the people, accountable to the people. Viva Umkhonto weSizwe, viva amandla.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'll hand over to you, Chief.
Thank you. You can have the,
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. Greetings to the media houses again. Mine is to translate the statement that was presented by the Honorable Mwali into Zulu, purely for the sake of Ugogo, Ubanongoma, Ubaba oseNquthu, ubhuti oseSoweto ukuze akuzwe ukuthi ngolimi lwakhe alincelebeleni sithini njenganomkhonto weSizwe. Kafushane nje umfowethu okhulume ngaphambili uHonorable Mwali uthe thina njenganeqembu lomkhonto weSizwe ngeke silusupport lolu hlahlozimali la ngonyaka ka2025 phecelezi olubizwa ngokuthi appropriation bill ngenxa yezizashwana ke ezilandelayo. Lolu hlahlozimali lubonakala luyisikhali esiqhubekayo nokuthi sigcinazele abantu abahlwempu, siphinde futhi sigcinazele abantu abadla impuya ngothi. Lolu hlahlozimali lubonakala luvikelwe umbimbi lwamaqembu abusa ngokubambisana kuleli parliament lethu, kodwa abonakala engenaso isisekelo sokusebenza ndawonye, kodwa ukusebenza kwabo kubonakala ukuthi bavikela abantu abacebile kwesezimali njengane MIF. Futhi lolu mbimbi lubonakala lulawulwa abantu abangakhethwanga ngokwentando yeningi, okusho ukuthi kuncane esizokuthola okuphuma emphakathini if benganamathele emphakathini. Lokhu ke esikushoyo njenganeqembu le-MK party kubonakala ngalezi zinto ezilandelayo. Kuhlehlisile ukukhushulwa kwentela yeVAT, kodwa sibona kungekho umehluko ekutheni siphinde sikhuphule intela kapetrol. Sibona izinkulungwane nje ezu-620 wezinkulungwane ezibekelwe ukwakha izikole,
ekubeni sizazi izingqinamba ezibhekene nezikole zethu. Sibona ukwehliswa kwesabelo zemali kweminyango eletha usizo ngqangi njenganezempilo, njenganamaphoyisa, njenganezokuphepha. Isimo ke esikusona njenganamanje isona ekade sibhekeke kakhulu thina njenganomkhonto, njenganeqembu lomkhonto weSizwe, ukuthi kube isona isimo esikusona esilawula ukuthi sizuluhlahla kanjani lolu hlahlozimali la ngo-2025. Isimo sibhekene njenganaso manje sithola isimo sabantu abantula yemisebenzi behleli ku-41%. Kuleyo 41% kubalwa abantu abawu-35% abangabomama. Okunzima kakhulu sibona kulo 41% kuyintsha eyakha u-45%, okungacishe kube ingxenye yentsha ekhona eSouth Africa, ukuchaza ukuthi intsha ewu-half eyisigamu eSouth Africa ayinawo amathuba omsebenzi. Isimo sezimali sibukeka singaphansi kwemali esiyiqoqayo. Ngeke ukwazi ukwanelisa izidingo zomphakathi uma ngabe imali oyiqoqayo ingaphansi kwezidingo ekufunakala uzenze. So konke ke lokho ke besifisa ukukubona kuba yizona zinto ezilawula ukuhlahlo kwezimali, ukuthi ngaphambi kokuba siluhlahle lolu hlahlozimali siyabona yini ukuthi imali siyiqoqile ngendlela ezokwazi ukuthi yanelise izidingo zabantu. Lesi simo sibi kakhulu lesimo esibi sisizwile umfowethu uMwelesho ukuthi sisibonile sishiwo ubaba uLieutenant General Mkhwanazi ekucacisa ngokusolibala ukuthi imali ebekelwe ezokuphepha kusithusa kakhulu thina njenganeqembu lomkhonto weSizwe ukuthi kanti lolu hlahlo osulibona lihlisiwe luphinde futhi kanti abantu abazohlomula ngalo abantu okufanele ngabe bayasivikela kodwa bayingxenye yabantu abahlukumeza umphakathi. So ke okusho ukuthi if lesimo esishiwo umfowethu uLieutenant General Mkhwanazi singalungiswa ngokusheshsha umongameli, okusho ukuthi izimali eziningi sizozibona zifikelela kubantu okuyibona abahlukumeza umphakathi olesizwe. Kungakho ke thina njenganeqembu leMK sithi izimali kufanele zibekelwe ukuqashwa kwentsha